Greetings, everyone. This is Mar, and once again, this is my opinion. Another month, another pay-per-view for WWE. Though this month we got two, technically, because we got a Raw one and a SmackDown one. Tonight's was a Raw one. It was Elimination Chamber. And before I get into it, yes, I did actually go back before the pay-per-view started and watched the go-home show of Raw, or at least the part of it that was worth watching, and that was the Gauntlet match. I'd heard some good things about it for the most part, and going back and watching it, I liked it. Good to see Rollins run the distance until he gets eliminated by Elias, and then the Miz's reaction when he realizes, oh no, I gotta wrestle Strowman later on. It made for a fun 2 hours. It was an easy way to book. I know some people might see that as a negative, but this is an instance where it's easy to book, and the way it was executed, it worked. Now, I skipped the other hour of the show because I heard that wasn't worth watching, that if this had been a 2-hour Raw like the old school ones were, would have been easy 2 hours of TV to watch. But nope, that didn't happen. Now, when it comes to the pay-per-view proper, like with Royal Rumble, I kind of came in the middle of it, but whereas with that one, I went back and watched what I missed. With this one, I didn't, so I'm just going to be reading off the internet what the results were. In the Women's Elimination Chamber match, Alexa Bliss retained her championship, so there's that. I came in near the end of this match, so I saw the ending of this one. Cesaro and Sheamus retained their tag team titles against Apollo and Titus O'Neil. From what I saw, it looked like it was a decent match. Now, coming into what I did see, I started with the second women's match, which was Nia Jax taking on Auska. And I like the way that they did the pre-match thing with Naya stepping on the mask in a dominant fashion before it showed the promo building up Auska. And when she came out, I liked that she had a different mask. She had like a goldish mask. That was cool. It was more like a bright yellow, but it was supposed to be like a gold yellow. And then when the match started, for the most part, Naya dominated the match, as she should, because she's the big old monster. And as Jim Cornette would say, she's a heel! Now, she didn't do anything cheating, because if you're a dominant heel, monster heel, you don't really have to cheat. Unless, of course, you're going up against a monster face, but how often does that happen? The only instance I can think of was Great Khali versus Big Show. And we all know what Khali tried to do. He tried to appease the Big Show by giving him a chicken. Asuka did try to fight back with kicks. There was one moment where she tried to put Naya in her armbar, but Naya powered out of it and kept going. And in the end, Auska did get a victory, but unlike the last time I saw them wrestle where it was a ref stoppage because of Naya getting an injury, this time Auska caught Naya and pinned her with a roll-up. It's not like a distraction roll-up, but it's one of those quick things where the face acts quickly, gets one over on the heel, and then the heel, Naya, she reacts in the manner you would expect a character like her. She goes after Auska at the end, and she tackles her through the barricade. And Auska was selling it pretty good afterwards. She had to be helped to the back, but shows not only that Auska isn't 100% invincible, but shows, you know, she can be smart and get a victory in a manner that's not just dominating, because for most of her streak, other than a few people, she was dominating a lot of it. So going with this to have her being dominated, show Auska can go with that on the main roster. If her career is going to last for years, she's going to have matches like that. So this shows that she can have matches like this. There's not going to be many women on the roster where she's going to be dominated in this fashion, but I like that she sold a lot for Naya, and Naya looked good as the dominant heel. Makes me wonder what direction they're going to go with the whole women's title thing, if the whole rumor about Auska challenging for the SmackDown one, and then Naya challenging Alexa is true. If so, it's going to be interesting, because Naya's going to be like, you had me go after her for all this time, and you were talking behind my back. And of course, it's good to see Naya still has something, because they had to cut her older storyline short because of Mr. Enzo. But next we got to what is essentially the filler match between the women's match and the main event, which was the Woken One, Matt Hardy, taking on Bray Wyatt. This match served what it was. I mean, in ring it wasn't that good, but it wasn't like a stinker. It's like so-so. What made it was more the fan reactions, because they were really into the Matt Hardy stuff. There was delete chants. At one point, it sounded like there was even a "We Want Brother Nero" chant, but it was "We Want Nero." It was kind of hard to hear, but that's what it sounded like on my end, which is like, oh, that would be cool if they had Jeff Hardy come out. We all know that Brother Nero. What I love though, involving the whole mind game shtick that's been going on between Matt and Wyatt, is it at the beginning of the match, right before the bell rang, when Wyatt came out, Matt's jacket's in the ring, because he did the whole surprise attack thing. Matt's not there, and then he starts doing his little laugh thing, and then singing a song about declaring him obsolete. Then he attacks him from the steps, and it goes from there. There were a couple good spots. At one point, it looked like Bray was going to slam Matt on the steel steps, but Matt reversed it. And in the end, Matt Hardy got the win with the twist of fate, and the Woken One is dominant. Now, before the match, they had an interestingly edited promo showing what this feud has been, and the feud has been so-so. It hasn't been as crazy as it should be, but hopefully if they give these guys another match at WrestleMania, it is crazy. That would be the time to do something from the Hardy compound, like maybe they fight at the compound and do like a House of Horrors match, but with Matt Hardy's Woken Brilliance. You know, that'd be fun. This would be the perfect opportunity to bring in Vanguard 1, Senor Ben Hameen, maybe Rebby, and the kids. You know this would be fun. WrestleMania would be the perfect time. Even if they don't do it from the compound, to have them be part of the entrance, that would be cool. But I doubt WWE would do that, but a fan can dream. A fan can dream. And our main event was the first ever 7-person Elimination Chamber match. And I have a lot of notes for this match, so if I look down from time to time, note that, because that's what I'm looking at, because there's a lot of moments in this match I demand. Of course, the pre-match was what all us fans expected, and that was Elias serenading the fans with his music. Fans weren't into it at first, you know, because he's doing his usual playing to the crowd shtick. Who wants to walk with Elias? Then he started taunting the other wrestlers, and eventually he's cut out by Braun, and he gets in his pod. And the ones who were in the pods after Elias were Braun, Cena, and Roman. So that leaves Miz, Seth, and Balor as the ones to start the match. Which, having 3 people start the Elimination Chamber match instead of the usual 2 adds a new dynamic to it, because instead of having it just be a 1-on-1 match until someone comes out, you have it be, you can have a 2-on-1, you can have, you know, every man for himself, each trying to do something, or in different combinations of both. And it started to play on that, because Miz is all like, yeah, you guys want to form an alliance? He's asking one of them. I just like how he tried to get Balor to, like, you want a too sweet? You want a too sweet? But nope, Balor and Seth do a little alliance, and then that's quickly broken, and the match goes from there. Cena came out next, and he went after Rollins immediately, which, given what happened on Monday in the Gauntlet match, where Rollins beat both Cena and Reigns in the same night, which, as far as I can tell, is the closest that anyone has come to replicating the Jericho claim to fame in years. So it made sense Cena would go after him. Eliminate me on Monday, will ya? Roman came out next, and he got some boos. I mean, he got booed all throughout the night at different parts. And when he came out, all 4 men were down. So it's like he's looking around like, okay, who am I going to take after? I got my pick of the litter. As it went along, he got into a little scuffle with Miz, and Miz turned the tables on him briefly and was doing yes kicks to him. You know, the way he's been doing the last couple of years in mockery of Daniel Bryan. But he missed the last one, and Roman turned it back on him. Number 6 was Braun Strowman, and when he came out, he dominated the match for a long period of time. He did a double suplex spot to Rollins and Balor, and there was even another spot where looked like he hit one of them with one of them. So Braun is literally the type of guy who can follow through with George Carlin's perfect murder plan. You pick up one guy by his heels, and you kill another guy with him. That way there's no murder weapon. And are you really going to try to put cuffs on Braun Strowman, the man who pushed over a freaking truck? And after this, Miz tries to escape from Braun's fury by trying to climb one of the chambers. Doesn't work. Braun follows him, then starts smashing his head a little bit into the plexiglass. You know, he doesn't break it. It would have been nice. I mean, they broke plexiglass in the first Elimination Chamber match, so it would have been nice to see Braun display his strength in that matter. But He looked strong in other ways, like he threw Miz right off the chamber and into the group of people, and he dominated the match. A little bit after this, he eliminated Miz. And as a little note, most of the people in this match were eliminated by Braun. So even though Braun in the end did not win the match, he still looked strong. Because not only did he eliminate the majority of the people in the match, but he kicked out of finishers. He kicked out of an AA. He didn't just kick out of 3. He kicked out, it looked like, before 2 was even started. So he kicked out of that fast. He even kicked out of a spear. And how many people have kicked out of Roman Reigns' spear? I mean, it seems like everyone in the main event scene has kicked out of the Superman punch, but not that many people have kicked out of the spear. They've been protecting that one, so for Braun to kick out of that was something. Luckily, they didn't have him kick out of every single finisher, because even though he got hit with the curb stomp, he got out of dodge before he got hit with it, and he was in a non-pinnable spot when he got hit by Balor's move, but that took him out for a little bit. And of course, Elias, when he entered the match, he did the thing that we all thought he was going to do, like, nope, I'm not going out there. And they did do a smart thing, and that was attack Braun altogether at one point, in addition to doing all their finishers against him. They also did the Shield powerbomb to him. And this is what led into the finisher spam on him, because that didn't take him out, so they're like, alright, finisher time. And then he eliminated Elias, he eliminated Cena, he eliminated Balor, and then he eliminated Rollins, which, as these ones were going, you could kind of tell where they were going. It was we've known for months that they wanted Roman versus Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania, which I have no issue with. I mean, they had a decent match a couple years ago. It's just that you could tell from it that Vince is still obsessed with getting Roman over to the degree he is, yet he does not understand why it's not working. He's just being an old man set in his ways going, "You're gonna eat your Roman house, and you're gonna like it, damn it!" And it gets annoying. I mean, I don't mind Reigns as a wrestler. It's just his character needs a little tweaking. I'll say this, even though Cena's character got old after a couple years with how it's done, he was still more tolerable because of how he performed as his character, whereas Roman, there are times where it's believable and times where it's not when he's by himself. When he's with a tag team partner, like when he's with the Shield, it's a little easier to hide it. But they need to really let him be more of himself, because he's a good example of why a scripted promo does not work as a whole. In the end, though, Roman gets this victory over Braun. Braun still looks strong even in defeat, because he eliminated most of the match, and being defeated in the end does not really kill his momentum. And of course, you expect, the fans booed Roman, but I did like the line that one of the announcers said right after this, and that is that Roman has bought his return ticket to Suplex City, and that is very true. Let's just see how the build-up for that match is, and how the match is overall, and hopefully, out of all of his world title reigns, because we all know Reigns is leaving WrestleMania with the Universal title. Let's just hope out of all of his world title reigns thus far, this is the one that actually makes him a little bigger. Now, in between the Bray Hardy match in the main event, we had the Ronda Rousey signing, which was interesting to watch. Angle came out with his music, and Steph and Triple H came out with Triple H's music, which they came out to the King of Kings one, which I really missed that one. It's like, when was the last time we heard him come out to that? It's been a while since I can remember. Triple H did the usual spiel that we were expecting, kissing a lot of butt. He kissed Angle's butt, he kissed Ronda's butt, had her come out, basically talking to her. And the worst thing about this segment, I would say, is Ronda's delivery. I don't know if she was going off the cuff or if they had her scripted, but based on her enunciation, I would say they had her scripted. You shouldn't script her if that's the case. You should just tell her what you want her to say and then have her do it off the top of her head. And if you did that, then she needs to grow into it a little bit. Not everyone can be good at it right out of the gate. I mean, I've never been in pro wrestling like this, but just for having taken acting training, I could tell you, you gotta practice a little bit at it. Now, the storyline I did like, though, for this little thing, where they brought up WrestleMania 31, that little incident, and I just love that Angle was the stooge here, and you could tell as the segment was going on that there was something on his mind, and when he finally did it, I was smirking. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is Kurt stirring the pot, basically stooging to the audience and to Rousey that Triple H and Stephanie had been talking smack on her. And I just love it. It eventually led to Ronda putting Triple H through the table that they were going to sign the thing on, and Stephanie slapped her. Now, of course, she's emasculated many of the men by doing this, except for Roman, who caught the slap. But with this, unlike them, in the modern age, Ronda can actually fight back. So we all know that they're going to have a match at WrestleMania, it seems. And for everyone who's hated how Stephanie has always made herself the center of attention, whether it be emasculating male wrestlers or putting herself at the center of everything when it comes to the women's division, we finally get to see her get a comeuppance. Finally. If that's the direction they go. And if not, maybe one day down the road. But I'll say this. Hopefully, if this is the match they're going for, Stephanie and Ronda better win. And afterwards, Stephanie better stop being the focus of attention, because she does cut a decent heel promo, kind of in the vein of the excuse me thing from Vicky Guerrero, where, you know, you just want to get her away or just despise her that much. But unlike Vicky, where she was the center of attention, but she was in the good way, Stephanie has become in the bad way. Even though her delivery's good, she just shouldn't be on there. And this is coming from someone who hasn't watched Raw religiously 100% in the last couple of years, but he was keeping up with what's going on. Now, as a whole, how would I say this pay-per-view was? I'd say it was decent. It was worth watching. I mean, like I said, not all the matches that I saw at least were in-ring classics, but they had elements. Like I mentioned, I did like some of the elements of the Bray Hardy one, even if the match could have been a lot better. Should have been crazier. I did like that Braun looked strong even in defeat, so hopefully whatever Mania match he gets is meaningful. Roman, return ticket to Suplex City. And I liked the women's match with Naya and Auska, so based on that, I'd say the pay-per-view was pretty good. I missed the other matches, so from an in-ring standpoint, I can't speak for them, but based on most of what I watched, I liked it. I'd say I think I like the Royal Rumble a tad better. And here's to the next one, and we're 42 days away, as of the night I'm recording this, away from WrestleMania. I'm Mar, and this has been my opinion.